Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast. Today, we are locking onto a stock that, well, it's been delivering incredible volatility and, frankly, some serious excitement. Ondas Holdings. The big question we're wrestling with as we look at all the research around this highly speculative name is pretty simple. Is now a good time to buy this stock? Before we jump in, please do hit subscribe, like this discussion, and leave a comment below. And hey, if there's a specific company you want us to look into next, please let us know in the comments. We do read them. All right. We've examined sources covering the fundamentals, the recent technical momentum, and really a flurry of catalysts surrounding Ondas Holdings. This is definitely not a straightforward story. It's kind of a collision of high momentum meeting, well, high operational risk. We really need to dissect how a company with such difficult financials can command this kind of premium in the market.
Yeah, and to start, you really have to understand the business model that generates all this high-risk potential. Ondas operates primarily in two really high-growth arenas: networks, that's their industrial wireless connectivity side, and autonomous systems, their AI-powered drones unit. They are positioned, perfectly for this industrial digitalization trend, selling critical components for automation.
And their competitive edge is supposedly their technology, correct? Their moat must be pretty serious to justify all the enthusiasm we're seeing.
It is, supposedly. And we need to clarify what that moat actually is. It's built around the FullMax software-defined radio platform. Look, this isn't just standard Wi-Fi. This platform is crucial because it lets them customize secure, high-bandwidth communication for unique, mission-critical industrial uses. Think remote trains, power grids, maybe oil pipelines, places where, standard commercial cellular networks just aren't secure or robust enough. This deep specialization in industrial IoT, that's what provides a long-term value thesis here.
Okay, that strategic positioning sounds compelling. I get that. But let's immediately pivot to the financial picture, because this is where the story gets, well, deeply contradictory. If they have this fantastic moat and they're in high-growth sectors like private wireless, why are the recent financials so turbulent?
Turbulent is maybe putting it lightly. They paint a very difficult operational picture, actually. You look at the revenue for 2024, it came in at just $7.19 million.
Ouch.
Yeah. And that's a steep 54% drop from 2023's revenue of $15.69 million. For a company that's valued as a growth stock, a decline of that magnitude, well, it demands a serious explanation from management.
Wait, hold on. A 54% drop in revenue, that's catastrophic for a growth company, isn't it? How can any long-term thesis survive that kind of operational failure, even if they have a cool radio platform? Isn't that just a massive red flag that overrides any future potential?
That is the fundamental trap, for investors here. The analysts who maintain a strong buy rating, and surprisingly, there are 3 of them, they're essentially pricing in the future pipeline. They're valuing that FullMax moat, and they're assuming the 2024 results were some kind of non-recurring operational bottleneck, not a structural flaw. Basically, they're betting on execution starting, now.
I see. So the market's looking past that operational decline toward future contracts, but the bottom line still looks pretty brutal, right?
It's absolutely brutal. The company remains deeply unprofitable. The net loss for the trailing 12 months currently sits at $49.55 million. Now, while that is technically a slight improvement over the $42.42 million loss reported in 2023, the negative EPS of negative $0.49, it signals severe and ongoing cash burn. For you as an investor, this just means the company is constantly needing funding.
Which means we really need to know how fast they're spending the cash they actually have on hand.
Precisely. We strongly recommend monitoring liquidity, working capital, and debt very, very closely. This is exactly why you absolutely must check the next 10Q when it drops. The 10Q, that's the required quarterly filing detailing the financial health. And look, in a cash-intensive turnaround story like this one, it's basically a mandated survival check.
Okay, so the fundamentals paint a, let's say, bleak picture. Operational risk, cash consumption. If that's true, why is the market rewarding the stock so aggressively? It really suggests the market is pricing in future execution that just hasn't materialized yet. We have to turn our attention to the sheer technical momentum that's driven this price action.
Oh, that technical momentum is stunning. Absolutely stunning. The stock has surged several 100% off its 52-week low of just $0.57. That kind of rebound, it draws institutional and retail money like a magnet.
And just look at October 2025 this month. The trading range has been exceptionally high, moving between $7.66 and $9.34. We are seeing major psychological resistance building up in that $9.30 to $10 zone. If you can clear that hurdle, the momentum could really carry it further.
Yeah, this is definitely not a sleepy stock. Not at all. Its high volatility is reflected clearly in its beta of 1.93.
Wow, 1.93.
Yeah. To put that in context for you, that means you should expect this stock to move nearly twice as much as the broader market on any given day. It just confirms this is strictly for traders with a high risk tolerance.
We're also seeing extremely high trading volume, right? Sometimes topping 100 million shares per day.
Yeah.
That signals serious institutional and retail attention. But what's really fascinating to me is the short ratio. What's happening there?
Yes, the short interest has been one of the biggest technical drivers lately. The short ratio has recently dropped down to 10.82% as of late September. That's a key technical indicator telling us that the bears, the short sellers, they're covering their positions in the face of this rally. It essentially creates a short squeeze that acts as a powerful bullish accelerant for the price.
So the technical environment is just screaming, buy the momentum. But momentum always needs a reason, doesn't it? We know something drove this stock from, 57 cents to nearly $10 in just a few months. What was the first domino to fall back in August that kicked off this massive rally?
Well, the initial boost actually came from a pleasant surprise. The Q2 earnings reported back in August, they actually managed to beat the consensus estimates for both EPS and revenue. They reported $6.27 million in revenue and an EPS loss of only -8 cents. When a high-risk name delivers an unexpected beat like that, the market immediately starts reassessing the worst-case scenario.
Okay, so that provided the initial spark. But the stock really caught fire when they secured some serious cash.
Yes, that was also in August. They announced a massive public offering, 46.16 million shares, priced at $3.25 per share, raising $150 million.
$150 million.
Yeah, big number. But this is the definition of a double-edged sword. While it provides absolutely critical working capital and eliminates those immediate insolvency fears, it also caused immediate concern about dilution for existing shareholders. It significantly increased the share count.
Right, the dilution concern. But that seemed to be quickly offset by a major validation point we saw in September, didn't it?
That's right. Securing that $3.5 million defense contract for unmanned ground vehicles, that was a huge credibility boost. Huge. It showed that the autonomous systems unit isn't just, R&D in a lab somewhere. It can convert its capabilities into real, tangible contracts, especially in the highly lucrative defense and industrial sectors.
And that concrete contract win immediately fed into institutional confidence. You could see it. Lake Street Capital responded quickly, raising its price target to $8 in September. That seemed to confirm that analysts are now seeing this as more of an execution story, not just a promise story anymore.
Exactly. Now, if we connect all this to the near-term future, the path forward seems tied to a single critical date, the Q3 2025 earnings release. That's scheduled for November 11th, 2025. This report, it just must validate everything the stock has priced in recently. It absolutely needs to show that the contract wins and that new $150 million in capital are translating into accelerating revenue growth and, crucially, a measurable narrowing of those, frankly, staggering losses.
And beyond earnings, we also have to track the market mechanics that can introduce volatility, right? Other important dates to watch are the ETF quarterly rebalancing on November 25th, and then the institutional 13F holdings filings around December 10th. These filings will reveal whether major institutions, think hedge funds, mutual funds, are loading up on the stock. If they are, that often signals renewed, sustained buying interest going into the year end.
And adding to the complexity are all the speculative drivers currently circulating. These rumors are like powerful fuel for high beta stocks like this. We've heard chatter, for instance, about a potential major strategic partnership with a larger defense or telecom company. Something like that would instantly de-risk the company's execution profile.
That would be huge. And crucially, there are also rumors that Ondas might use its recently raised $150 million war chest for an immediate acquisition, maybe a smaller drone or AI company, possibly within the next quarter to accelerate their scale. That kind of move would signal really aggressive expansion rather than just cautious execution.
Definitely aggressive. And we should also acknowledge the social media buzz regarding potential C-level management or board rotations. Some link this to the recent flurry of insider sales. All of these factors are just high-octane speculative drivers keeping the volatility extremely high.
Which brings us right back to valuation. This seems like the most critical disconnect right now. We have analysts maintaining a strong buy rating, yet the median price target is only $5.67, with a high of $8. And the key point here is that the stock is currently trading way up in the high $7 to low $9 range.
That's fascinating, isn't it? So you're saying it's currently trading above the consensus expectation. If the median target is $5.67 and the stock's trading, nearly 50% above that, Doesn't that imply the market is betting on information or maybe future execution that analysts haven't yet factored into their models?
It absolutely does. The market seems to be pricing in the success of that $150 million deployment, the success of the defense contract pipeline, maybe even banking on one of those large strategic partnership rumors coming true. It makes that November earnings report the most critical test of validation for these elevated prices. You're essentially betting on a perfect execution scenario going forward.
So just to summarize the substantial risks you're taking on here if you invest. The primary risks, they remain the sustained operational losses and the critical need for continuous funding. That hasn't gone away. You have significant execution risk. Can they actually convert their strategic positioning into commercial product adoption at scale? That's the big question. And of course, you must have the stomach for the high volatility driven by that very high 1.93 beta.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? The overall rating, based on this synthesis of strategic positioning versus aggressive technical momentum, it leans bullish, giving it an 8 out of 10. But that conviction relies heavily on the potential of those strategic assets, combined with the undeniable technical rally and that short interest reversal we discussed.
Yeah, and I think this stock is compelling, really, for two distinct types of investors right now. First, you have the short-term traders. They're targeting tactical gains around the Q3 2025 earnings and any potential contract news. For them, the volatility is their biggest opportunity.
And second, it's maybe for the very long-term investors focused on next-generation connectivity and industrial automation. Those who believe that 54% revenue drop was truly an outlier and that the strategic moat will eventually translate into sustainable profitability, maybe in 2026 and beyond.
It's definitely a high-stakes choice between tactical momentum and that long-term vision.
All right, so given the recent $150 million public offering, the company is a fresh and, frankly, considerable war chest. This leads us to our provocative final thought for you to chew on. Will Ondas Holdings use this new capital primarily to overcome its existing operational execution risks and finally achieve sustained profitability? Or will they leverage it for rapid, potentially risky acquisitions in the AI and drone space to try and accelerate scale immediately? That strategic decision, how they deploy that $150 million, will ultimately determine the success of this entire turnaround story and ultimately whether the stock justifies its current elevated price.